Thank
We'll
you.
take our laptops.
So
We'll
we're gonna-
go to the
I'm
coffee
Nate.
We'll
shop.
try our
Nate.
hotspots, we'll show you.
Just tell me that,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's okay.
We'll hotspots, right?
So I have Nate's right here, he's showing me. He marked, I never write down my password, that's good, that's a good bingo, right? Where his bingo is, I do use two-factor authentication, I never recycle my passwords. I use a mix of numbers and letters and passwords, and I don't use whole words. That's good, that's a good bingo. He's following the best practices. And you should probably mark that I do best practices as well,
Oh,
because you are doing it. Good
well,
job.
I figured since I didn't have everything on there, I wasn't doing best practices.
Oh, no, you're doing, that whole row is good, is best practices, so you.
Oh,
you did
okay,
good.
excellent.
Yeah, so. This is kind of fun, it just kind of brings awareness of passwords and what you should and shouldn't do, right?
You really shouldn't start it with a capital letter?
Uh,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Everything they look for.
Oh, okay.
Which is because the computer's capitalized for you.
Well, you
so-
know, so they're looking,
You have
yeah,
to-
so
you
you
have
have
to
to
not.
not do it, yeah.
Yeah.
And most people do a capital letter because your computer automatically tries
Does
to
it?
make it a capital letter,
Mhm.
right?
Oh.
Because they think it's the beginning of the word.
Yeah.
And that's where don't use whole words or names comes into play. If you don't use a whole word or name and it looks like it's just a adjective, it probably will not capitalize it for you. If you just wanna be careful what you put in there.
Now, if the system says you must use a mix of capital upper and lowercase letters, use a capital letter somewhere else in the
Correct.
string,
Yes.
but don't start with.
Exactly, I'm gonna show you some examples of that too. And then I have, we're gonna talk a little bit about saving passwords. I know it gets so complicated and it's a pain to save passwords. I have this is called Every Key. It lets me into every program. It lets me in, let me put that this on it. And you can carry it like this, or on a keychain, or you can wear it on your wrist so when you're working. Like I have to work on networks, and so it's nice when I have this, I wear it on my wrist so that I can log in and everything. I don't have to remember all the passwords. They're secure and they're encrypted on here. And this automatically lets me in. This will they're developing this so it'll let you in your car, in your house, and everything. So it's a really kind of cool device. It's called Every Key. They sell it online. This kid grew up in Boulder, designed it. Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland.
So what, it keeps your passwords in that?
Everything, yeah, all your passwords, even logins to all your URLs. So if I'm on my computer and I wanna log into my bank, Every Key pops up and it already encrypts my stuff and lets me right in.
Now,
So
what
if you lose that, then
If
everybody's.
you lose it, it's all encrypted.
Yeah.
You just shut it off and they send you a new one with all your stuff on it.
What do they cost?
$44.
Really?
Yep. So it's a handy little thing.
Hmm.
There are other things, and I'll talk about that a little bit. There are other ways to save it too, through applications and stuff, and we'll talk about that here. Did we get the keys? Come on. All right. Password, PIN, and token security. Credentials control access to pretty much everything, right? Ensure compliance with password policies. Just make sure you're following the company policy. If they tell you to use 12 characters, use 12. And by the way, just a little note, when the internet first started years ago, we only had to do 4. 4 was a requirement.
Wow.
4 characters. We're up to 12. And you can put anything in. I put my kids' birthdays in
Yeah.
back then. You know, but you just put in a 4 numerals and you're good, right? You can do it, but you can't do that now. Why is this thing all over? Be vigilant against social engineering attempts to watch you enter your credentials. That's called shoulder surfing. Get you to change or reset your password. That's called social engineering. Yeah. Convince you to reveal answers to security questions. That's also a social engineering attack, right? That could be a phishing attack too, because it can do through email. And keep tokens and ID cards and some badges secure. You guys probably have a badge to get in the fob to get in the building. Yeah. I have one too for all the other buildings that we have to go to. So we do IT stuff for them as well, networks changes and stuff. All right, here are other ways to store a password besides Every Key. NordPass, Keeper, RoboForm, Dashline. The most popular one is LastPass. You guys probably, has anybody ever heard of it? It does the same thing this does, but it's on an app. So you can keep the app on your phone, and you can also have it on your computer, and it'll remember all of your passwords for you. You never have to remember another password. But you can secure, it's all secure and it's encrypted.
Wow.
So now until somebody figures out how to hack this stuff, we're okay. And this has been in process for years. I mean, they developed a really good product there. The Remember Bear, this is for our elderly population that can't really remember how to use it, or it makes it really easy for them to secure their stuff. So that's what Remember Bear is.
You did, I think last time you recommended Password Saver?
Password Saver's one, yep. But these are, so when we feel like there's been a breach or a, something wrong with that, we don't want to recommend it. We just go with the latest.
Oh, so if I have that, then it would
Password
be.
Saver, I think there was a bug in it,
Oh, uh-huh.
and so people were losing some of their passwords.
Oh, okay.
So we quit recommending it. But LastPass is probably one I would highly recommend. It's safe. Creating strong passwords. All right, 8 to 12 characters long. What do they require you guys to do? 8 at least,
Yeah.
Yeah.
probably. It'll probably change to 12 next year, or 12 to 15, or whatever. That's why it's so nice to have something that would help you remember those passwords, because you do want to be safe and you want to have everything secure. And I mean, I get into a lot of accounts. I mean, you know, my kids went to college. I still pay student loans and things like that, so I have to log into different things, you know. Create complex passwords using uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and special characters. So it's okay to have your dog's name or something like that, but you want to use a special character to change up the words a little bit. No PIIs. Anybody know what PII stands for? This is
Personal information.
Yeah, personally identifiable information. That is going to be on the test. They will ask that question. So you never want to use a date of birth, anniversary date, pet's name, etc. But it's personally identifiable information. What that means is it can identify just a single person, right? It can identify you. So security numbers is a big one. Anything like that. Don't reuse passwords. Each service has its own password. So you never want to reuse them. Don't use the one you use for your bank. Don't use it for your email. Or vice versa. Don't want to use the same passwords for everything. That's why it's good to have a password protector saver, so you can you don't have to worry about that. Colonial Pipeline, we all know about this one, right? This was a big one. This became a state of emergency. President Biden created a state of emergency. The FBI got involved. They got being compromised through a VPN. They were able to get somebody's VPN credentials. So VPNs are great and they're safe, but if somebody gets that information, that's a whole other story, right? So they're always looking for somebody to trick into getting that information from. So if you look here, they're telling they pay $30 million now or $60 million later. They ended up paying them $4.4 million, which was authorized by the President of the United States to get their information back. So that was crazy. And there's a group called the Dark Side. They all have really ominous names, if you see, like Dark Side and Evil, and you know, Quantum Spooky. I never thought it would be spooky, but it became spooky. So let me go backwards. So we talked a little bit about ransomware as an attack that becomes more prominent, being wary of suspicious emails and messages. When we talked about somebody trying to get you, send you an email and say, we want you to donate here, click this link or whatever, that's a suspicious email. Because it's nobody you know or nobody you've done business with before. You want to make sure that you know what you're clicking on. Right?
So they can't trace where that $4.4 million goes and get these people?
So the FBI does these monthly roundup calls every month, and somebody asked that question 2 months ago on one of the calls, and they said if it was here in the United States, yes. There are some where they do. They actually did get, for this one, they actually did get part of the team. They did get part of the group that did it. Not everybody was arrested, but they did get some people. And this was done, I believe, in China. And China helped prosecute the people that did it. So. But, they, what do you say?
Eastern Europe is where they caught some of the.
Eastern Europe, okay. So, I know they caught them, I know they caught some of them, not everybody, not all of them, but they caught them. But the FBI said if they were here, yes, it'd be so easy to catch them, right? But they're all from foreign countries, so it makes it very difficult. And once that money's gone, you can't get it back. It's hard to recover it. They recovered some of that though.
Is it ever a danger, like when I get those strange emails that
Yeah.
you know are just like a scam or something like that, I always hesitate to forward it, cause I think, what if I'm,
You don't wanna forward it if you think it's a scam, you wanna just call IT and tell them, they can get on your computer and look at it.
oh, okay, that's just wondering, cause I always thought maybe I should forward this.
No,
like-
IT can
delete
get on
it.
your computer and take a look at it for you,
Okay,
so. Did you guys order your lunch?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, if you need to take a break for it to get in, I'll let you know.
Not quite yet that I can see.
Anybody have any questions about this? As if we didn't have high gas prices as it is, we have,
Yeah.
right? That really affected the airlines though, that really affected the airlines big time. That was part of the problem with, I mean, it was kind of during a COVID time, so they weren't back full force, but that's why the tickets are so expensive right now. Record passwords securely, do not put them on sticky notes. I can't tell you how many times I'll walk into a building and there are sticky notes on computers with passwords. So just make sure that that's not happening. If you see that, take it from somebody.
speaking of, if they can take your laptop and break into your laptop and get into everything